Good morning, Ramdino on the Camino community and Appalachian Trail community. So today is day 7. What? Crazy. I know that. I get that. But that's where I'm at so far. So we'll go over some stats and stuff later. But this is the earliest light I could get. And even my camera's telling me more light needed for super steady. So if this is bouncy, I apologize, and I won't be here long for this segment. But typically, I'm starting in the dark. And you can see off there in the distance, that is where the trail is, where I'll be continuing. I call it a trail, it's mainly a road. And I think it's just, farmers use the road, so sure it hadn't always been that way, but we don't really have much trouble with traffic. So, yeah, so this is what my morning looks like. Not gonna get a real super duper sunrise out of it because it's cloudy. Have not looked at the long range forecast personally, but I've been told by others that have, that say there's no rain in the forecast. I understand y'all are having a dry spell back there in the States, and because there's a lot of fire bans and stuff from Georgia to Virginia I've seen on the trail. All right, let me put it down. We'll wait for some good light to make sure it's not shaky. So there is a pretty decent infrastructure built here for the Pilgrim. So that's like a picnic area there. I haven't seen them with water or privy, but usually got some picnic tables, and see over the brush over there, shelter, I guess, from the rain. But I had a guy last night from Canada. We'll have a discussion about Canadians maybe here in just a minute. But he said that that pilgrims over here are rock stars. That they really love us. I don't know about that, but I do know that some of these towns are pretty much, based around, certainly in the beginning, around the Camino. And even though they're ancient towns, there were places pilgrims would come and stay and eat and everything else. And so that last town, Azofra, there was only like 200 people lived there. And other than farming, they no industry here. So, the shopkeepers and stuff like that, and bar and restaurants. So over here, it'll say bar restaurant. So while that does mean they got alcohol, bar and restaurant are same thing. So you can get food there as well. And even if it just says bar, it's still a restaurant. But, oh look, let me zoom in. So you got some snow over on those mountains. I don't think we're going that high, but I don't know. So today, it's the first day that I have not worn multiple layers coming out of the gate, coming out of literally the gate at the albergue. I started out, of course, wearing my thermals, and the first day there got all the way with everything on other than spare clothes. But and that's the only day that I've really worn my thermal top. I did wear my puffies a couple days, but it seemed to be either in a warming trend or it's just getting warmer now. Well, it is both. But I've only been here a week, so I can't imagine the temperature, the temperate zone changing that much, but somebody told me that it does. And I guess as we come to lower elevations away from the Pyrenees, maybe that's what it is. Of course, like I said, over there, you got snow on the mountains. So today I just came out in a t-shirt, a little chilly, but warmed up very quickly. And so it's really great hiking temperature. I'd like to have it maybe a little 5 degrees chillier would be good. Then I wouldn't have any beads of sweat, but not having to wear my typical buff around my head that gives me the poofy rock star look in my hair. But it's good coming out. One of the things I have noticed, and I'd love to hear from any folks out there that have done long distance trails or through hikes, what have you, is started out, everything body great, fine. First day fine, second day fine, third day started to get some blisters, aches and pains, and those but they quickly went away at night with a good night's rest. And then I started waking up in the morning still really hurting. Not hurting on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably been a 3, but then it's got to be 4 or 5. And this morning it's probably about a 5. Now, as I've got on trail, I got warmed up, it's not as bad. The problem is you start favoring, like for instance, my Achilles been bothering me. You start favoring some side, now that puts stress on the other. Joints, muscles, tendons, skin, all that. So you almost have to will yourself to walk even on the painful side rather than favoring it like you normally would, to prevent, if not at that moment, later in the day having some issues. So we'll see how that goes. All right, I'm coming into town here. I'm not sure what this town is. I'll throw it up here. But I'm coming in here and going to look for a restaurant, or just a bar. Give me some café con leche y azúcar, which is coffee and cream with sugar, which I normally just drink my coffee black. Maybe a little bit of, not PCT oil. What is it? Can't remember the name of it now. But a little bit of oil, maybe even some butter, but no sugar. But over here, I'm burning off that sugar before it gives me an insulin spike. Maybe get me a pastry, because that's all they eat over here. Now they do have a bocadillo, which is basically a sandwich. You can get it with jambon con queso, which is ham and cheese. They have a breakfast tortilla, which is not what our tortillas are back home. It's you get it on a sandwich or a la plata, which is a plate, and it's basically an omelet made out of egg and potato. Most of the time they've already got those made up, so I asked for one with con jambon, and that means with ham. That way I get a fresh one, because they don't make those up ahead of time, and I need the protein for the day anyway. All right, we'll continue on into town here. This looks like a fairly modern town. Don't know as much going to be to see, but find us a place to grab us a bite to drink and eat, and get back to you on the other side. Determined we are coming into Serena. I believe is how you pronounce that. Man, they'll sticker anything around here. And maybe paying to the idea that we are rock stars, there's a monument to Pilgrim. And what I want you to see is this a dadgum country club out here in the middle of nowhere. So you got your driving range boxes there. Look at that manicured stuff. A flag out there, practice green. Crazy out here in the middle of nowhere. I don't know if it's 18 holes or 9 or 3, but that's pretty amazing. I have been amazed as I walk through these towns. It's 10 to 8. There's nobody stirring. I'm in the middle of the freaking road. I don't see a soul. It's almost like the rapture happened and everybody got took up but me. Look at this. Crazy. And this happens town after town after town. You get through there ain't nothing happening until 10 o'clock. Maybe that's a issue for us, is that we got to go. Of course, a lot of people getting go, getting out of them albergues at 6 in the morning. But anyway, these Spanish towns, there ain't nothing happening here. And then 2 to 5 can be siesta time, where ain't nothing happening then either. But yeah, you could just walk down the middle, and a lot of times people do walk down the middle of the road. I have not passed that restaurant yet. I am afraid I have missed it. All right, got my café con leche and my pan con chocolate, which is bread. It's a croissant, kinda, not in a crescent shape, but it's made out of the same type of bread, kind of in a bun, but it's got a chocolate in it. I don't know why they don't use jelly, but that's what they use, is chocolate. So beggars can't be choosy. I asked him to fix me a tortilla with ham and cheese to get a fresh one, and he said no. So thanks, dude. Anyway, got my cafe con leche, and I'm looking out there. Now that is north of me, but that's rain coming down out of them clouds. Nobody said anything about rain, so hopefully that's going to stay north of us by a couple miles. Obviously there's not a cloud in the sky over me. Really don't care about walking in the rain. It is inevitable on a 5-week trip, though. Hoping most of my precipitation was behind me, but if it's not, it ain't. We're still gonna be loving it. All right, see you in a bit. So this is a Cathedral, Santiago de Calzada, I believe is how you pronounce it. What is unique about this is it's kind of known as the chicken church, because they got chickens in it. And there's a story behind that. The story was that it was I can't remember the story. I'll try to figure it out. I might give that to you later, but in any case, the chickens were cooked and they were roasted and they come back to life. And so it was a miracle. But wow, it's just so many of these cathedrals, they just all run together. Yeah. Well, that will have to be one of the more unusual things I see, the chicken church. So the story is, I looked it up on the wall there, that pilgrims came to town. 18-year-old fell in love with somebody he wasn't supposed to, and they got married, and so that was illegal, did it without permission. So they hung him. And as the magistrate was eating his supper after the hanging, and his parents came to see him hanging, the boy said he was alive and had been spared by Santiago. And the chicken that was on the magistrate's plate came to life after it had already been cooked. So the church was memorialized that with chickens in the church. So obviously they were in a very ornate cage, coop, I guess. So I'm not gonna pattern my coop. My coop is nowhere near close to that, but there was no miracle associated with my chickens. Well, other than that, I've still got 8 left. And my buddy Greg we ordered them at the same time, and he's got none left. His didn't even make it a year. So if you listen to this, Greg, you come here to get you some miracle chickens in Santiago All right, trekking on down, heading to Belarado. I think that's what it is, which is about 13 miles away. All right, earlier I said I'd talk a little more about Canadians, so don't hear anything disparaging about Canadians in any of this. A lot of Canadians on the trip, and the problem is, and I've hiked with one occasionally on and off, and several on and off. The problem is that when you get them in a group, they all start talking French. So, you know, you're left as a dumb old English dude, dumb old redneck from the foothills of North Carolina. You're left out. So no point in sticking around or really creating a camely out of that, because you're not going to be very conversational, not going to be very social, and that's fine. I mean, you know, obviously if I get around a bunch of Americans or English people, that's all I'm talking. That's pretty much all I know. So the chances of creating a camely, oh, there's more snow, are slim to none, but that's not why I'm here. So, all right, we're outside, done with Camino, not Camino, whatever that town, Santo Domingo. Done with it, and we're heading on to Belarado. Well, I am stopping at the first place I come to, this food truck here in Logroño. That was 4 miles out, 4 miles and some change outside of the last place I was at. They all run together. Well, this is a bocadillo. First time I've seen it on toast. Usually it's on a, you know, like a bun, sub bun kinda. So I asked for a jambon y bocadillo, jambon con queso, por favor. So this is what it is: ham and cheese sandwich, and she toasted like, got it warm. Obviously not much toasting, but fresh squeezed orange juice. So that's 15, €5. It seems a little steep, but I guess it's probably mostly the orange juice. I've seen that for, last time was 13 euros. And that'd mean dos euros, so 15. So the fountain is right here. When you first thing you do, you get in town, here's the fountain. Every little town's got fountains where you fill up. You can also fill up at where the restaurants are. I don't know if there's a restaurant here or not. All I see is this food truck. Of course, I'm not going to take any chances. I don't want to get to the other side of town and not have anything to eat. So, you see that sign behind me? It's chock full of everything that's in this town. It looks like there's about 103 restaurants. I choose a food truck. It's okay. Good. Well, I'm going to make my feet air out here.
I don't want to bug you on your thing. Are you speaking with somebody?
Hey, no, come on in. What are you doing here?
You didn't see me. I was sitting there.
You're sitting
I didn't
where?
even hear.
No.
Yeah, I didn't hear you.
You mean you've been sitting there? Did you not see me get something to eat over there?
No, at all. I didn't hear
sit
your
down.
voice. I didn't hear anything.
I thought you was gone, way in front of me.
No, I've been like having a great time, eating up, and
You already eat lunch?
yeah, I had like the tortilla was really good.
Here?
Yeah.
At the food truck?
Yeah, I could have had two. I could have definitely have
We'll
two.
get back to y'all later.
Oh yeah, yes.
So, yeah, I figured you were 2 towns in front of me.
Okay, so I missed completely because I could see you ahead.
So y'all were behind me.
I was behind
you were
at the
behind
beginning.
me. Yeah.
At the beginning with this French man.
Right. I
And
heard
then
y'all
at some
back there
point,
talking.
yeah.
I said, "That's her voice. I can tell her voice." And y'all were back there, and then y'all stopped. You know, there was a guy on the side of the
Yeah.
road messing. I think
So-
y'all stopped to talk to him.
Yeah, well, those two walked together, and the first one, he left earlier. He's not fast, so I went ahead, and then I could see you in the distance, and so I was kind of following a little bit, and then at that city, I was seeing someone very far. I was like, did I stop and I forgot? Like, you know, you forget that it took you a long time to, I don't know, put something back on you.
I stopped, and there was a restaurant
There
that
was a
was
restaurant
off
open.
the Camino.
Oh,
So
you
it's
needed
like,
to know.
yeah, it was probably
Oh, that's what
I
it
don't
is.
know, 200 yards.
Okay, I missed that.
So I had to have my café con leche y bocadillo con chocolate.
I totally missed that.
So that was good.
Yeah, it must have been.
And then when you were texting me about the chicken in the church, where were you then?
I had left the city.
Okay.
I stayed maybe 20 minutes in that place. I don't know, maybe not even like. It's not like my big thing to learn all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you just kind of go around and you see the chicken and like what's in there.
Well, I
I
have
could hear them. Oh, you have chicken?
I have
Oh,
chicken, so
But there's a story. The Italian guy was telling me the story, and I will not say it as well as he explained it. Like, it took him 10 minutes to explain the story. But like, all right. So again, I forget what happened, but
18-year-old Pilgrim comes to town.
okay, so you know. So
Marries
he's
the-
with his family, and then there's
He marries some local girl, which is illegal.
Okay.
And
well,
so-
don't tell me the story. I know.
Huh?
I know it if you know it.
Okay.
Well, I guess I'm recalling while you're saying, but then those chickens are the descendant of those miraculous chickens.
Oh, I didn't
right?
hear they were descendants. I just
Yeah.
heard those chicken. That it was kind of a memorial to them.
No, apparently they're the same descendants from the really, well, if it's true, who knows?
Yeah.
There might have been some little.
Some embellishment.
Oh la la, eh? It's getting hot.
Yes, it is. Feels so good up underneath in these trees.
Yes, I know.
There's
And I
no
like to
shade
eat
out
it.
there now.
No, exactly. That's the thing. Eh? When you get in a city, you're like, yes, look at some shade.
All right, we are making our final push into Belarado. We've got a place booked. They got a pool. The bunk rooms, you could go from $17 in a big dormitory, or $18 in a smaller one, or $21 4-bedroom twin bed with a shared bathroom. So I'll just spend the extra $4. Sorry, honey, and get a better accommodation. But we are the last push into there. We are about 30 to 40 minutes away, and it's looking like we're going to be there about 4 o'clock. So that's a great time to get there. Today's push has been about 23 miles. So yesterday was 21, and my feet were killing me at the end, the last 5 miles. Today, not so much. So my Camino friends gave me some of this magic lotion that you put on your feet. Did that at lunch. No, it's not cannabis lotion. It's actually Europe's version of Voltaren. But that makes all the difference in the world. So we stopped at a machine. So they have these things called pharmacias here with an F, which is basically a pharmacy. But I don't know that you can get drugs there, but they have healthcare products, kind of like a CVS. And they were closed, but they had a vending machine out front for typical items that people will get. So there was my lotion. So I quit bumming my friends and have my own. Of course, that just adds 3 ounces to my pack weight. But anyhow, now when I put my, so the machine only took euros, didn't take credit cards, and it only takes paper, but it spits out change. So it was 13 euros. I had to put in a 20 euro, and it spit out $7 euros and 50-cent euros. So that means I had 14 of those things. My pocket weighed about an extra, that added to my trail weight another 5 pounds. So we stopped and I got some ice cream before we got here. And the lady did not speak a lick of English, but I got across to her that I wanted to. So apparently the name for exchange money is recombine or recumber. Something sounds like recombine. So that so I gave her 5. I put up 5 on the counter, or 10 on the counter, and she combined that into one $5 bill. So that was, there goes. Yeah, that helped out a bunch. Kept them from bouncing around in my pocket. And anyway, you think that's loose change like that is such a small thing, but when you get out here and you're carrying everything you need to survive on your back and in your pockets, and it's hot, well, you'll do whatever you can to get a 1%, be 1% more comfortable. All right, last push of the day. Today's been a hilly day. We will chat una más one more time when I get in to the albergue. All right, I got to tell you about this. So here we are, half a world away from the AT, and I come up on an AT through hiker, Mosey. So I can't remember when she through hiked. It's been several years ago, but I met her at a shelter in Virginia near Daleville, and she still had the picture where we met on her phone, and that's crazy. And she gave me some cookies because she didn't want to haul all the cookies, so she gave me some cookies. We hauled those, and anyway, she's been hiking the West Highland Way and some other trails, so she came out to do this. And that's crazy to meet somebody that you've met on the trail, on the AT, at a shelter with a bunch of other people, and to meet them here. I tell you, Lord's been good to me this trip. I get those little blessings constantly, and today my feet are feeling great, and I'm going 2 more miles. So, whew, what a ride, guys. Got to come do it. All right, again, final push in Belgrade.